again from Varsity Sports Bar and Grill. It is another edition, another special weekend edition of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. There we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Carroll. And, man, up before noon on a Saturday, Rob Herking. It's a big day for you.
Yeah, well, yeah. That would connote that I went to bed, brother.
Oh, well, you've been up all night?
It feels like it. Feels like it, Dan.
It's a big day for you.
It's like the little engine that could every time he tries to crack that first beer. You know, I think I can. Why do you struggle so much?
I'm waiting for it to bite through his lip.
I know. Holy smokes. Yeah.
First one of the day, man.
Yeah, it's a long night, Dan.
It sends you down a path from which you cannot return.
Yeah. I'm going to go get euthanized after this show. We're joined by Jason Kiefer, who I noticed when he's hovering over that mouse pad, his hand might be as visibly as bad as mine.
No. Mine's actually probably medical, not
mine is too.
Intoxication.
No, mine's medical.
Mm-hmm.
HIPAA. I can't tell you why, but
you notice I didn't ask.
Today is the Armed Forces Bowl at 3:00. Army Navy. It's always a good time. I cannot wait for it. And we did have a date that'll live in infamy 2 days ago, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day.
Sure did.
If you guys are picking up a theme with what I'm bringing down, we've got a VA VIP, Mr. Todd Sledge in the house. He is Todd's been on the radio. We've known him for a long time. He's been on the radio a lot, and it is the only radio show that I make sure I tune into. He is commonly on Brian Thomas, who is the best radio guy ever in this market. What? So Todd,
I like Brian Thomas.
I do too. I love Brian Thomas. I'm just screwing with you.
The talk.
All right.
When are you on, Tom? Is it every Tuesday, every Monday?
I'm scheduled every first Monday of the month.
Okay.
Yeah, with Brian.
Okay. I just tune in every Monday waiting for you.
Right.
So.
I'm doing his show this coming Monday.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the same day you got to check it with your PO.
He's going over to 700 WLW that day.
Yeah, right.
to the McConnell show.
Talk to Willie.
Yeah. So Todd, what exactly do you do, buddy?
Well, thanks first, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being here.
Always a good opportunity to talk about what the VA does here in town for our veterans, and a lot of myths and misconceptions that I'll probably weave into some of my answers to your questions about what VA healthcare is. But what I do is I'm the chief.
That'll presume we have questions prepared this morning.
I know. I'm kind of scared.
Considering this came up at 11 o'clock last night.
I think so. I kept saying to myself, I agree to what?
But, I said Monday or Saturday. You're like, tomorrow's fine. All right.
Tomorrow's good.
What were you doing hanging out with these guys at 11 o'clock?
You know what?
I was at home.
I needed something to eat, and I came in, and they were sitting there.
Is a bender, hey, Falconator is a bender when you don't stop? Because that's probably yes. So I'm sorry, Todd, go ahead.
No. So thanks. Like I said, thanks guys for the opportunity. So I'm the chief communication officer at the Cincinnati VA. What that entails is really anything that involves communication. So my office controls all of our internal communications, external communications, works with our congressional offices in town and in Washington, D.C., as well as all of our social media, our marketing, our web, anything related around what veterans will see or should see, and also the 2,300 staff that we have.
So that's internal communication. Is there a separate external communication post within the VA?
No, that's in my office. So
it's all under.
It's all intertwined. There's
is it just Cincinnati VA or is it regional?
Just Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah, just Cincinnati. So I did at one time for 5 years. I was the assistant press secretary for the secretary of the VA. I did that for 5 years.
Okay. So
that was a nice stint, and also my job involves media relations. So
Gotcha.
Anything with that. So yeah, I'm very fortunate. I got a great staff. They all have individual stuff. I've been with the VA 31 and a half years. It's been my entire career. Graduated college on a Saturday and started on a Tuesday, and
no shit
turned around and done multiple different things. But the majority of it is I've been the chief communication officer for 20 years. Prior to that, I worked in mental health, where I worked with our homeless veterans doing outreach, and I also worked in our post-traumatic stress disorder program for a few years. So,
what years were those? And I'm just because I got a follow up to it. I'm just curious how far back it was.
Yeah, 1990. Let's see, 1991. I started at the VA as an intern. Officially came on in 92.
Okay. We talk a lot about PTSD for first responders, military,
Mhm.
mental health, etc., and how the taboo has kind of been ripped away lately, which is great. It's going in that way.
Yep.
Do you see a noticeable or market difference between when you started in 91 for mental health PTSD with VA to where it is now?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I like to profess, and not just because I work there, but VA really does lead a lot of mental health treatments and conditions. And in 92, when they stood up 4 different residential programs across the country, Cincinnati happened to be one of them, where the terminology post-traumatic stress disorder actually got labeled, or previously shell shock, or they called it bipolar or whatever. Yeah. But through the years, what they've learned is that through really more so proper, what they call cognitive treatment therapy, talking with a psychiatrist, psychologist, group therapy, getting veterans amongst each other have common challenges, that you don't really need to use medication. Medication was the thing that was always thrown at veterans first, but those forms of treatment have been more prevalent. And really what's resulted is now looking at someone who has post-traumatic stress disorder, which really is a disruption to your day-to-day life, versus post-traumatic stress syndrome, where you have symptoms of PTSD, but you don't have the isolation or the disorder functions that disrupt your daily life.
Gotcha.
Well, it's a good thing you've got an in that department, because after being on this podcast and listening to it, you're gonna need a lot of fucking help.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, just in Cincinnati, just to elaborate a little bit, we have 3 residential programs. They're 6 weeks each. We have a men's program, a women's program, and then they have a combined traumatic brain injury PTSD program. Because for those that have traumatic brain injury, severe traumatic brain injury, and PTSD, that's a hard combination to really learn how to use the coping skills to manage what your PTSD deals with. And we're very fortunate that we have the national leader PTSD director in Cincinnati, Dr. Kathleen Chart.
Well, with the TBI, it's more physiological as well, coupled with the PTSD. So you're treating multiple ailments.
Absolutely.
Just the psychological aspect.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Falconator said he's going to need a drink after this podcast.
Too late, Falconator. Too late. We already had one. I will tell you, just from my work as a defense attorney, the VA has been tremendous with the veterans that I represent. And, veterans are people too. If people get in trouble, shit happens sometimes. So get over it, snowflakes. But the VA is awesome. And there's a particular woman, I don't want to call her out. I don't have her permission, but I will. Bethany Clary.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to give her a compliment. She is fucking awesome.
I was going to say the LLC is now sued.
Bethany Clary is awesome. I have emailed her on several of my cases and clients, and the VA, for as much criticism as they have gotten over the past years, I never dealt with them years ago, but I tell you currently, I have no problems getting a hold of the VA, getting a response or information from Bethany that I can provide to a judge to help a veteran out going through a minor issue in their life at this point in time. and they're awesome.
Yeah,
and the resources you guys have are tremendous. I mean, everything. It's like a small village of healthcare in that place.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the major things that my office attempts to do with all the marketing and communications that we do. I mean, I'm very fortunate to have a large, robust budget that allows me to, go on Brian Thomas, and we do a bunch of TV, and we use a lot of over-the-top television, digital stuff to.
Did the word robust come to mind because of the Waffle House you just mentioned?
Yeah, I can feel that at my stomach. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Todd was telling us before we went on air that he went. Oh, I felt great this morning. I got up, worked out, and then I went to Waffle House and had some chili with sauce.
Didn't get that steak and eggs, man.
It looked good.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, the biggest choice was when she asked me what my all-star breakfast was. Did I want biscuits and gravy or waffle? So
I just bring the syrup. It doesn't matter what you bring.
No, it was good. But yeah, the VA has a ton of resources. So here's just some stuff run down real quick. The hospitals are all rated by complexity from level 1s to level 4. Cincinnati happens to be a 1B complexity hospital, which basically means we do the exact same things as everybody else in Cincinnati. If it's Christ or Bethesda or whoever, we do all of that. And you're right, Rob, we have an extensive amount of resources that are available that a lot of veterans do not take advantage of, because here's some of the common myths. Veterans think that you had to be injured in combat, serve in combat or some related injury to combat to be eligible for VA healthcare.
Nope.
And that's not true. You just need 24 consecutive months of service and an honorable discharge. And, to your point, one of those services happens to be, we have a veterans treatment court,
Yep.
Which, involved with Hamilton County and Butler County.
They just started is it Claremont? No, I think it's just mental health, but
Yeah,
I know they're leaning towards VA or a veterans court out there.
Exactly.
I hope they get one out there
Yeah.
because there's a lot of veterans in Claremont County.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
Claremont's the second largest population of veterans in our area. But yeah, the Veterans Treatment Court has done a whole bunch where, judges and prosecutors and attorneys get together and say, you know what, it's not going to do any good to put this guy or girl in jail.
Yeah. Who is it? Judge Nestor runs the
Yep.
common pleas version, and is it Kissinger or Greenberg? Shoot, who runs the?
I can't remember the other one, but the
municipal
first one
court.
you said is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we also, speaking to this, the legal stuff, we have teams that go into prisons and jails and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, the resources, here's my soapbox pitch. Veterans will use their GI Bill to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
They'll use the home loan to buy a loan. They'll apply for service-connected disability related to injuries to, whether it's physical or mental. They'll use the burial benefits when it comes to that end of life. But a lot of them don't sign up for VA healthcare. And because there's so many different myths and misconceptions. And like last weekend, I was down at Reds Fest for 2 days with my outreach team. And veterans coming by and they're like, well, I've got private health insurance. If I don't want to give that up to use the VA, you don't have to give up your private health inalsurance.
Nope.
So it's actually a bonus to have both. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So VA is not a PPO or insurance healthcare based thing. It is benefits. So if you have private health insurance, it's a huge advantage to use the benefits of the VA for, say, a hearing aid. We know what those things cost. At the VA, you could get it for free.
Yep. Everybody's
eyeglasses.
got copays with any private
Right.
insurance. You're going to have a copay.
Right.
When I say private, I mean employer paid or employer subsidized. You're still going to have a copay. You're going to be out of pocket. Shit. Go to the VA first. And when in doubt, it's always worth 30 minutes of your time to make a phone call to save a couple $100.
Absolutely. I say that all the time.
30 minutes.
It absolutely
shit.
is.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine what I have to deal with sitting with Dan for 60 minutes twice a week? I mean, just 30-minute phone call. It's 1/4.
No, you're right. It's just a matter. First of all, it doesn't cost anything to enroll, and once you're enrolled, you're in the system. And over 31 years, between friends, family, different acquaintances, I can't tell you. I bet at least 50 times a year I get a call from an acquaintance or a family member or a friend who knows someone. I just had one, matter of fact, yesterday. Buddy of mine got off an airplane, just got back from Cincinnati helping his dad out who had a stroke. Vietnam veteran, never enrolled in VA healthcare, and now needs all kinds of services. But because he was never previously enrolled, the whole system has to start from ground zero, and there's not that immediate effect. Well, he'll eventually get the help. But if you're enrolled, you can walk in the door when you need it. Yeah. And honestly, the biggest thing my office has been focusing on right now is in my 31 years of doing this, veterans who are not enrolled by the age of 40 won't enroll until later on in life. When VA healthcare becomes an option where, say the spouse retires who carries the health insurance, or the retirement from your 35-year job you went to every day doesn't cover your stuff. That's when
you get to a point where you actually, I mean, that's your only option at that point.
I don't want to say it's forcible, but you need healthcare.
Well, here's what sucks, and I know a lot of people that
real
have
quick,
to.
Rob, where can they go? Is it just va.gov?
No, it's actually a really simple process. I would encourage people not to go to our website unless you just want information. But here's what you need to do.
We'll give you your personal number out later.
Yes, I think enough people have it. But yeah, you just Keith, it's what you call our eligibility office. It's 513-475-6499. So it's 513-475-6499. That's a direct dial number to our eligibility specialist. To your point, Rob, 20-minute conversation about, and they'll ask you questions about your service and all this different kinds of things. It is helpful to have your DD-214, which is your discharge paper, that carrot. But if you don't have it, we have means to find out other means for your service, and you start finding out what you're eligible for.
Will you accept copies of the DD-214?
Yes.
Okay.
We do all the time. Yep.
I've got
Absolutely.
because I've made copies of mine, and there's been a few places where you go and they say, no, we need to see the original.
Yeah.
Which is
let's say look at your physique and there. Don't worry.
No, we'll take copies.
Just saying.
We'll use. I mean, as long
It's
as
because it was on parchment paper.
most of the time when I've seen that, Dan,
He's
is
got
if
the
it's not a
quill.
legible copy, like they can't see certain stuff.
Yeah.
But if it's a legible copy, no. And here's the other thing too. Like right now, I just found out 2 weeks ago, we're going to start partnering up with Hamilton County. The Hamilton County Hamilton County clerk of the clerk of courts, Scott Crowley, just initiated a new effort for any veteran, doesn't have to be a Hamilton County veteran, to get a veteran ID card, which includes getting a copy of your DD-214. The ID card comes with different discounts for resources in town.
I'm surprised the VA hasn't worked on a veteran ID card with some kind of QR or whatnot that you could punch it up and it'll have an electronic copy of your DD-214.
Yeah, well, you would think that would make common sense. Now, the VA does have an ID card that they use to check into their appointments.
That was sarcasm because it's government fraud. It'll happen in about 30 years.
Common sense doesn't apply to
my job. It'll happen in 30 years.
Yeah, when they're not using QR codes anymore, they're on whatever the next.
We won't even have the internet. We just think things to each other.
I think eventually you'll just hold your wrist up. There'll be something in there.
It's like the dog. Yeah, I found this dog. Scan that fucking thing for the vet. All right, he's a veteran. Here's a DD-214.
Well, let me ask you about this. I'm guessing you saw the stories from Craig McKee at Channel 9.
Yeah.
And what's number 31 million? I think they're saying, or 31 million. They're saying that was meant for veterans. Went to other places in Hamilton County. What's your reaction to that story? And what's been happening since that was the end of October when he put those stories out the first time. What's been happening since then?
Yeah, so I work with Craig all the time. He's kind of one of our go-to reporters here in town, and he when he mentioned that story or he did it, he let.
Is he in the system? Because he's an Air Force vet.
He is in the system. Yeah.
Okay.
He is in the system. Yeah. So, and I'm glad you bring that up because the Hamilton County Veteran Service Commission and us are totally separate.
I'm glad you guys delineated what
separate
in
entities.
the system means because it means something different for me.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I've seen his name on it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I even have that perception when you talk about a veteran service organization, the VA. You get it in your mind that they're all part and parcel of the same thing.
Yeah, you're correct. And we're not, and so, even though we all have the same mission and we're focused on the same people, we're not integrated like that, but we do work together. So for like Hamilton County, for the Veteran Service Commission and that story, you see an issue, you raise it. That's what good reporting does. And I know there's been some reactions to it. We've had some interaction from Hamilton County about the transportation that they do, but we do our own transportation. The VA does. There's actually, if you're eligible for VA transportation, we use everything from Uber Health to we have our own drivers, our own vans, contracting services. So I think last time I checked, we spend about close to $4 million a year on contracting services besides our other transportation. So if you're eligible for VA transportation, they pick you up right at your doorstep, take you to your appointments, do all the things that you do. And if you don't qualify for VA transportation, this is where like Hamilton County, Butler County, and Claremont County come into play where they do have transportation services provided. So there's, Hamilton County does a great job. They do other things other than just the transportation piece. But I had no idea that something like that was not happening for veterans because my office refers veterans to those offices. Yeah. So, but I hope they get it. Whatever issues they've come up with or identified to do that, but we do have transportation services. For
and what I know, I heard him talking about this on the radio, and one of the things he was talking about was, I guess, the overall structure and the way they're set up, and he was essentially saying that the people on the local level don't really have anyone that they answer to.
It's a medical condition.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's just the way it's like it's his own separate entity.
Yeah,
and I guess there's no one on a federal level they answer to, and like the county commissioners don't have anything. There's no one. Yeah. To sort of crack the whip over them.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup for sure. Yeah, and I don't know how the other counties are situated, especially Butler County and Claremont County, who we work with.
But that's what he was saying. That the way they're organized varies from county to county.
It does
in Ohio. I don't know if it's that way in other states.
Yeah. Who's Pat Sledge? Is that your mom?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, she gave us some Facebook love.
Oh, isn't that nice?
She's my number one fan. She
never calls in at bright time. She's up early on the podcast. I love it.
All the way from Florida.
I just saw that.
Yeah.
Hey, Mrs. Sledge.
Yeah.
Hello, dear.
Real quick question. I'm going to follow the question up after this. As many of you noticed, Kiefer was making fun of my medical condition this morning. I think if there was a kid without a leg, he'd probably do the same. But I just poured a drink into my new 20-ounce tumbler from Engraved in USA. In business for over 25 years, Engraving Your Business awards, promotional items, employee and customer items, brewery drinkware, golf outing accessories, promotional and recognition items, or just a gift for a boss or an employee or a friend. If you're a smaller global company, we have the team that can design and produce quality items to enhance your business. Call the team of Tanya, Tammy, Tim, or Rich at 513-682-2557 and say 100% to get the best personal touch from our friends at Engraved in USA. Speaking of Rich is in studio right now, and I love calling this place our studio. He is in studio right now, and he brought me my tumbler, and
he sent me a bunch of pics real quick. I want to just burn through those real quick.
But I do have a follow up, and I wrote it down, so I won't forget it this time.
So Rich sent me a bunch of pics of some of the stuff that they've made for us that you guys can order off of
one more, and I'm out of here.com. Go to click. Shop now through our website, and you go directly to Engraved.
Great Christmas gifts.
Oh,
yes.
Fuck, this thing is awesome. Wait till I put some other shit on there. Rich and I were talking about ethics and what we can and can't put on these things before the show. So I've got to nix a couple of my ideas.
I mean, who wouldn't want to have one of these in their home?
Fukamas.
Or maybe multiple.
Who wouldn't want one that says Fukamas?
They got all different.
Can you spell that?
Fuchamas. Fukamas.
I could spell it now because I've heard it 70,000 times.
Do you want me to use it in a sentence? Mary Fukamas.
Let's see. We
That's brought to you.
We got a flask with a
from you, Rich.
Flask /
oh, look at that
cigar holder.
Oh,
so, a couple different cups. Like I got one real big one here,
and you could put.
So you can put your bourbon and your cigars.
You can put
in the same one.
3 shots of tequila, 3 shots of bourbon in that little holder.
It made us some golf towels.
They're all beautiful, just beautiful stuff.
And we got other colors in black.
Got koozies.
I kind of
everybody wants
cigar lighter with a cigar punch.
I think I'm going to go green or red next.
Is that what you're going to do?
I think so. I like it.
Those are the mugs.
Those lighter things are awesome, by the way.
The original mugs that they made for us and that we give to our guests. You'll get a mug at some point, Todd.
Yeah.
They look good.
Considering this came up at 11 o'clock, we didn't have time for the crack production staff.
I'm used to it. I'm used to being told on Tuesday the secretary of the VA is coming on Friday. So
we had a 12-hour turnaround on this podcast there.
Absolutely.
If it means anything, Varner.
Out of nowhere.
If it means anything, Dan and I had no idea we had a podcast yesterday.
All right, there you go.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Enjoy that.
I'll use this tonight.
There you go.
Open it,
but yeah.
It.
Well, you got to open. You got to show our viewers.
I have no idea what it is.
The beautiful piece of.
I was afraid something would jump out at me. Check that out. There.
That's
it is.
later.
Oh, it's even got a handle.
Yes.
It's got the "One More and I'm Out of Here" logo on it.
And then we'll get your name on the back of it.
Well, I'll make sure. I'll make sure my wife Amy doesn't steal it.
Oh, she will steal it too.
She's been eyeing my 40-ouncer that I got for the that Rich made me for that was pink with the breast cancer show we did.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I love these things. They're great.
They're awesome.
I've got in the description. I've got if you don't go to onemoreandimoutofhere.com or whatever, I've got the Square site that goes direct to Rich. Mm-hmm. You can pick anything you want there. Please help support the podcast.
Yes,
they're doing great with us and have been a huge help. And now that we have a bank account, we could do something with the check that we were sitting on for like 2 months.
As JJ said, we're moving on up, baby.
Moving on up.
Yes. So Todd, I want to get back to the VA. There was a question that I had, and when you were talking about, a lot of people don't think about enrolling until they're 60 and need it or whatnot.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Say I am 28 and I have gotten out of my 4 years or 2 years of service, honorably discharged, and can I enroll and not use the VA for 30 years? Do I have to re-enroll when I hit that point in 50s, or is my enrollment still valid at that point?
Well, once you're in the system, you're always in the system. But to remain active in the system, we do need to see you every 2 years.
Okay, and that's just a quick follow-up.
Yeah, it's basically a quick primary care visit, checkup, see how you're doing, blah 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 blah. But that's basically it. So my office actually has 2 people that track veterans who we haven't seen for like say 14 to 16 months. Mm-hmm. And they'll call that veteran up and say, hey, Jason, we haven't seen you in so many months. I've got your team here in front of me. I saw you went to podiatry the last time you were here. I can get you an appointment scheduled today. So that's how what we call our callback or our service recovery for veterans. Because like anybody in healthcare, you sometimes you just go when you just have an episode of care that you need.
I like
the way you don't go back.
Podiatry. Brad Winstrup.
Well, that's a good place. Good
congressman. Yes, he is.
He's a good person.
Last year with him, 24.
One of our listeners, David J. who's in the Navy,
I love this.
says, as an AD member, can I use a VA transportation and get a ride from San Diego to the varsity sports bar? we met David in Clayton last April.
It's part of his therapy, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Valued listener, we appreciate it. I said your Uber's en route. Meet at the pickup point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hop on that honor flight. So, yeah, but
by the time he gets off that flight, it'll be dishonorable.
but
flight.
that's how, Rob. That's how it works. That's how it
Okay.
works.
I didn't know. Yeah, I mean, most general practitioners, most GPs, PCPs require you to come in every 2 to 3 years, or they
Yeah.
cut you as a patient anyways.
Mhm. Right.
So if you're going to your PCP and you're paying, I'm sure you're paying an out-of-pocket copay with private
Right.
insurance anyways. Go to the fucking VA, get your every 2-3 years done, every 2 for the VA, and keep your enrollment for something big that happens down the road.
Yeah. Well,
Todd doesn't have the computer in front of him, but Jason Mallett said, and you want to get your service connection sooner
Yep.
than rather than later.
yeah. Apply early. Apply now. There's a couple.
It's kind of like democratic voting.
Yeah.
Vote often
especially-
and early, baby.
Yeah, especially like right now, Jason. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a little over a year old now. The administration that we currently have, the prior administration and the current administration finished off the
Big bald eagle fan, I hear.
the legislative law, but there's something called the PACT Act, and it has to do with toxic exposures that veterans from
Oh.
Gulf War on
Is
were
that-
exposed to.
When did that come about? Was that around the Camp Lejeune time too, when they started looking at it
Lejeune,
all?
yeah, Camp Lejeune has been more ongoing, but just over time, body of evidence, veterans coming in for
The burn piles, the burn pits,
burn
and shit like that.
pits. I mean, if you were around, you were loading fuel in planes. It's not, again, not combat related,
Right.
pesticides,
Yeah.
anything like that. This
Anything
pack-
service related, right?
yeah, so there's all these presumptive conditions that have come up, and now VA has said and Congress has awarded that if you were in this area at this particular time around these substances, there's no burden of proof on the veteran to prove whether they were there or not, because they're already diagnosed with some of these things.
Yeah.
Hypertension, diabetes, dermatology stuff. I mean, if you were in artillery, you don't have you have hearing problems.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh shit! I
So-
was shooting with a buddy of mine that was he was a gunner on a Humvee in Iraq for 2 years.
Yeah.
We go in to shoot down a ready line down in Newtown. Motherfucker's not wearing hearing protection at all because he can't hear shit.
Right.
You don't need that, pussy.
Yeah, he's
Right.
firing off a shotgun. I'm jumping. Somebody's picking me off the ceiling, and I
Yeah.
got hearing gear on. And
Somebody
this son of
drops a
bitch not even
phone out
jumping.
here
I know.
and
You
you
don't
go
hear
through
nothing.
the ceiling.
Well, let me ask you this though. With these areas of service and the other things with the conditions that they're constantly changing and granting additional funding for,
Mhm.
I mean, instead of jumping on the internet as a vet and spending 2-3 hours getting pissed off on a computer, couldn't you just make a 15-minute phone call to your VA to find out if, hey, here's my service time and here's where
Yep.
I was, and you'll
Yep.
tell them, correct?
Yeah. So there's two things you should do. Number one is call the number that I gave Jason earlier, 513-475-6499. That's your healthcare eligibility.
Mhm.
As far as filing a claim, you definitely want to talk to a veteran service officer. Someone who's like, especially like at downtown, we have a whole suite of offices. Where
That
we
would be
have-
a VSO because you guys are big into acronyms.
And that actually,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
actually, right before he said that Jason
oh,
put
really?
it in there.
so yeah,
VSO, baby. I love the
yeah,
acronyms.
the VSO, or we have a VBA, Veterans Benefits Administration.
You got a VIP? Oh, that's you. My bad.
That's me. Yeah, that's me. But you want to see one of those folks, because here's why: they'll fill out all the paperwork, they do it properly. They can also be your advocate for whatever happens with whatever letters you get back from the VA, and they can track what's going on. And so I encourage anybody, and you should apply. I mean, again, I've had veterans say to me, "Well, Todd, I don't really need it. I'm doing well." And I want to make a point to this real quick is, somebody else needs it more than I do. And I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, when you go to collect your Social Security, I'll take that from you.
Yeah.
Because you don't need it, right?
Hey, guess what? You guys, we're paying for it. We're all fucking paying for
Right.
it. If you work, you're paying for your own care anyways with
Right.
the VA. So don't worry about somebody else needing it. And we're just going to print more money anyways to make sure it happens. And secondly, get in there. And if I was eligible for veterans benefits, I would fucking take advantage of veterans benefits.
Yeah.
Because
Well, and here, and not to
it's a hell of a resource.
not to sound
around this area.
crass, but your government took advantage of you.
Oh, sure.
They used you.
Yep.
And we're all happy that
We appreciate
that everybody did it.
100%.
But yeah, I mean, take advantage,
It was
because
worth a hundo.
I see in the fire EMS world, I see it all the time where somebody says, I'm not enrolled in VA. And these guys,
I'm always amazed.
Vietnam vets and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I didn't know that much about it until I, met you and started talking to you.
Yep.
I said, get enrolled. I mean, it's never too late. I mean, yeah,
It's never too late.
it may be a little bit of a harder
Yep.
road to go
Yep.
if you're not doing it sooner than later.
Right.
But
Yep.
I see it all the time.
Yeah, there's men and women who are in their 60s and 70s that are still getting enrolled and getting service connected benefits. It doesn't. There's no age limit on when you could apply.
There you go, Dan.
So the one thing I want to emphasize, because you made me think of this, is that, and I usually don't say this much, but I'm going to because I think it's appropriate. We are funded based upon the number of veterans we treat.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a veteran who's completely healthy, doesn't use a lot of services, we receive about $3,600 from Congress, up to about $2 million, depending on your complexity. So my thing is, if I was a veteran myself and I didn't really need the health care, I would still enroll just because I know I'm helping someone else.
It's helping the numbers.
You know,
Yeah,
so it helps the numbers.
And Todd, it's not
That's
a
a good
surprise because I've talked about this with various drug alcohol treatment programs that are through DJFS. That money from DJFS is federal monies
Mhm.
kicked out to the states, administered by the county. At least in Ohio, it's administered by the counties. And Talbot House, CRC, wherever it is, the more people they have in treatment, the more allotment they get, the bigger the budget they have.
Yep.
And sometimes that's a bad thing. But in this circumstance, I say it's a good thing because
Absolutely.
it allows the budget to treat the veterans or the people that need it the most, in my opinion, because they have given the most
Yep.
for our freedom, our ability to sit here and say whatever the fuck we want to say on a Saturday
Yeah,
night.
it's business 101. And, you know, more money you have, more staff you have, more infrastructure you have.
Well, and if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
I went to a FEMA class in Texas that I paid nothing for. My department paid nothing for. Transportation, lodging, the class, one of the best classes I've ever gone to. But they're like, here's your per diem. Use it.
Right.
Keep your receipts. Don't put alcohol on it.
Right.
Keep your receipts.
Right,
But make
cash.
sure you turn them in because our funding will go down if you do not use that. And I completely get that.
Yep.
And for organizations, you know, that you're heading up, or these other these other figureheads, they don't want to lose that.
No.
And the government's going to see, oh, well, we gave them this, but they only use this.
Yep.
You know, and it's if you have a budget, use all of it.
Yeah, and that's the key. I mean, like, with us, I mean, just kind of going back to the overview of the facility, we treat 43,000 veterans here in the Tri-State. We have a 92% trust score, which is this is a trust score that they tell us there's samples of questions they have to answer, but I still know that we should be at least treating 60,000. There's a lot of veterans out there that just don't do the things that we're talking about for various reasons. And I can tell you time and time again, the number of veterans that I run into who are in their 60s or early 70s, and all of a sudden they're like, I never really thought about it. I really don't need it. Or I run into veterans who really know how to use the system. They got their private health insurance. They see their doc for this.
Yep.
And they get their eyeglasses and audiology and podiatry, sometimes medications. And private sector doctors who know you're a veteran will say to you, you might want to go to the VA and check this out.
Get it cheaper. You get everything cheaper, if not free, at the VA.
That's true.
And
That's
you get
true.
diagnosed by your PCP, but just go to the VA afterwards to get your shit for free. Why the fuck not?
Well,
it's like going to Kroger. Yeah, that looks good this week. That looks good this week. Yep. And then I'm going to go to the VA and pick up the shit for free.
Yep.
Why in the fuck wouldn't you do that?
It's you said it better than I did. And the other thing about
especially when you can't get a fucking ride to and fro.
Right.
I don't have to call the fire department to get Kiefer to take me in a paramedic truck down there.
Well, and a lot of times, and that's, I mean, I know you're.
I'm joking.
I know you're
because
joking.
You do a lot of those runs for
It's-
people that just need a trip to see a
They're
doctor,
taxi cab rides,
or go down to Clifton for whatever reason at university. But that was the other question I had, real quick. I'm sorry.
No.
Do you guys have agreements? I don't know as far as I know they're not going to take somebody with a gunshot wound to the VA. Probably they're going to take them to university. It's a trauma center.
That's correct.
But the experts that you do not have, say oncology, do you have contracts or partnerships with area hospitals where they may have that expertise, like University of Cincinnati Cancer Institute, the what's the place up north?
the James. Are you talking?
No, it's up north. They do brain cancer. Mayfield. No shit.
Yeah, you're talking. Mayfield or Cleveland Clinic.
No, Mayfield Clinic. I think it's in.
It's in Cleveland. There's a Mayfield.
But do you have those contracts or partnerships with
Yes.
those outside experts?
Yeah, we do. Well, so like
do
I
they
said,
come to the VA to treat or for office hours, or do you go there as a VA?
it's a little bit of three things. So when I said we were a complexity 1B, we do provide those services. Now here's the other thing. Every VA is associated with some large academic health school. So for us, it's University of Cincinnati. So part of the mission that VA has is we are the largest medical school training facilities for across the country. So we get that combination, but yes, we have those things in house. Sometimes if say our oncologist has a dual affiliation with UC and VA, they can get the benefits of both places. So if that doctor determines, hey, there's certain machinery or testing equipment that we don't have, they can use the university to do that. The other thing about
is that covered by their VA benefits?
That's correct.
Okay, so you're still not out of pocket.
You're still you're still under the same umbrella,
and you're getting a shit that we're paying thousands for.
Correct. Absolutely.
As a private citizen.
Correct. And the other side of that too is here's where your private health
fucking registered. 15 minutes.
Yeah, here's where your private health insurance comes into play. So if you are susceptible to some kind of copay at the VA, we're going to bill your insurance first. So that billable insurance may cover whatever that you may have for your deductible, whatever else. So you could be nothing out of pocket. And then the other part that adds to the resources is the community care. So we're required by Congress that if we can't see you, say, Dan, you're out in Mount Orb and we can't get you to a VA appointment in a timely manner, or it fits into your schedule, we can then do what's called a community care voucher, and you can use that in the private sector, and the VA will cover it. Yeah. So just has to be authorized.
And I just want to go back to another PSA here for the VA. See the acronyms there I'm throwing out. I'm 48 years of age. I didn't do anything arduous last night, but I feel like I got hit by a car and beaten with baseball bats. You 28-year-old veterans that are eligible for VA benefits, you're 28, you think you're invincible. It's not going to happen to you. You're not going to get old. You're not going to get these symptoms, these maladies and shit like that. Fuck you. You're going to get them. There's going to be days you wake up at 50 and like, what the hell happened to me last night? It may not be alcohol induced, but it's just going to be because you're getting old.
Or you're 43 and fall on a boat, break 5 ribs, and
get in that shit right now.
Now dealing with all kinds of insurance.
Get in the VA now.
I know that guy.
Yeah. Get in the VA now is the point. 15, 20 minutes. That's all you got to do once every 2 years for a half an hour. You're done. You get a free ride too. So take a drink with you. I think you can drink in those Ubers.
You do. I
do.
I got no comment on that.
You do.
But
just put it in an engraved in USA Cody Hody, baby.
But something you said, Rob. I wanted to go back to what Dan was saying about the confusion or the miscommunication about all these organizations. So the Department of Veterans Affairs is actually broken up into 3 branches. So you've got the Veterans Health Administration, which is what I do. Then you've got the Veterans Benefits Administration. This is where like the disability claims,
put
the
up
GI Bill,
513's quote,
and home loans and all that go. And then you got the National Cemetery Administration. So there's actually 3 branches of the Department of Veterans Affairs that makes up those things. Here in Cincinnati and in Ohio, then you got county offices. And those offices are funded by tax millage that goes to the counties to do different things with veterans. And then we're very fortunate here in town, over in Erlanger, you got the National Disabled American Veterans headquarters. So the DAV a lot of times gets associated with us.
I was gonna ask about the DAV affiliation with the VA.
Yeah, so they're a partner of us. Their mission's a little bit different than ours. Are they a
separate budgetary item?
Absolutely. Okay. That's a nonprofit veterans organization. Okay. Just like your American Legions, your VFWs, your Marine Corps leagues, all that stuff. All of that stuff is separated.
Which brings up a good point. We are parts of the Sons of the American Legion.
We are.
Post 318. Dano, we're trying to get down there as a Post 318 member.
Yeah.
You veterans out there, in addition to joining just the VA, get involved with your posts. These guys, you go to any post we travel around some of these posts, and the guys are getting older. Help them keep that post alive, because when you hit that age, you're going to want an organization where, like Todd was saying, for the PTSD and the other issues that are PTSS, where you can sit and talk to other people like-minded that have had the same experiences with you, which is part of therapy anyways. It's not going to be around. These guys are getting older, dying off. Look at the World War II generation. There are very little left yet. Get involved in there, get active, keep the posts going in your local community, your American Legion, etc. So you got 2 phone calls to make: your local post, American Legion, and the VA.
And we're not paid by any of this.
We're not paid by any.
We're doing it because we want to.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
And we didn't serve.
No. But we had fathers and grandfathers that served.
Yeah, my dad was Air Force.
Yep.
Dano was Air Force, and
there Thank you for your service, Dan.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you should have listened
Thanks,
to the podcast where he talked about the Sticky Pages episode and the hangar on that plane. The smut
Never
mag.
talked about that.
Oh, I'm pulling that quote. You remember when he was talking about the smut mag?
I do
In the
remember
hangar?
that, and it was talked about.
But you're right. I mean,
Get active, get involved.
Yeah, belong to those organizations, is a way, the way to give back. I mean, that's what, why we got involved with our local post. And, for me, it's not ironic that I'm actually at the VA. My grandparents were both very active in veterans organizations. They were state commanders and different stuff. And I actually, since been 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, was running around the Cincinnati VA, Christmas time, giving out gifts and the different things that they do. So, like you said, Rob, there's so many things that veterans should be taking advantage of. This is one of them for some reason that they don't, but they do all the other things.
Well, yeah.
And, that's why I spent 30 years trying to influence veterans to understand how we fit into their portfolio.
And I get it. I mean, veterans are selfless individuals. They
Absolutely.
give of their time, they give up their lives for us.
Yep.
So they're selfless and they don't want anything in exchange for their selfless service. And
Help my fellow man.
Dan served. But do us a favor, for the 3 of us that are sitting here that did not serve, take advantage of what you got. You deserve it. We all have a friend that we know that he had cancer at 37, battled it. He's still battling it. I mean, Jesus, Brad. And he did not want to get on disability because he didn't think he needed it. I was like, you fucking need it. He could barely walk, work.
Guy's got 14
nothing.
lives, not 9. Yeah.
I was like, Brad, of all people that need to be on disability, you are the guy that I am totally comfortable with getting on fucking disability.
Yep.
You guys that serve, guys and girls, when I say guys, it's not gender specific. You guys and girls served, and you deserve any and all benefits that are attributed to you and available to you. And do not pass up the opportunity, and keep the post going for the future generations, your kids, grandkids, etc., so they can have the connection with military members that did serve. If they didn't, like the Sons of the American Legion, like we do. Mm-hmm. With those veterans. I love sitting down there and listening to them tell some stories if they'll ever, some don't, some do, but
Sure.
It's just fun to interact, to hear where they served and win, and have a couple beers with them and shit, and watch some football and bullshit.
Cincy 513 said there's so much information and benefits available, it's impossible to navigate it by yourself. My family and I are greatly appreciative of all of Todd's help.
Oh, great. Yeah. It does start with that phone call, honestly. I mean, you call eligibility, and that's actually, when you land in an airport at a new place, what's the first thing you look for? You're looking for, baggage claim and baggage claim, and how do you get out? I mean, there
is a priority list.
God, it depends who you were traveling with. It was wife and kids. It's like bar
on the way to the baggage.
Yes.
Right. But that's how you start with VA healthcare. It's called that eligibility number 513-475-6499 and get the ball started. Here's the other thing: if you're a family member, Jason, can call that number and get information. They just can't enroll the veteran. On their behalf.
And another thing I just saw too, USAA is rolling out, and we're not even endorsed or paid by USAA, but USAA insurance is rolling out for family members of service members. It used to be strictly service members, and I think they just switched it about a year or two ago, and they're rolling that out.
Yeah.
And they got good policies.
They do.
The rates are good. Their coverage is good.
Yeah. All right. So we've had some really, really good banter here. And Cincy 513 has been fantastic. But I think it's Dan's turn to piss him off.
Oh, shit.
What am I going to do now?
I don't know. You sent me some things that I'm pretty sure is going to light the fire.
Well, wait, let's save that for another podcast.
We didn't like
okay. All right. Disregard.
I'm just saying.
Disregard.
I happened to see Cincy 513 last night at the lounge.
No, this podcast has a certain theme to it. I hate to break it up with.
I'm surprisingly
just idiotic stuff from our commander in chief.
Well, we can do the podcast like we normally do. We've had 45 minutes of great information and content.
I don't want to ruin it.
I did not know DAV was.
All right, well, I'm gonna fucking ruin it.
Wow.
Yep, it is.
I'm gonna derail this son of a bitch.
Hey, we got the crosstown shootout. I think we can say shootout now tonight at 6:30 in Cincinnati. Cincinnati Xavier, baby.
Remember when they found out that?
And Falcon Raider says Dano's afraid.
Afraid of what?
And she's been waiting.
Why was that, Dan?
And Cincy 513 says, I'm ready. Let's go.
Why did they get rid of the fucking shootout? And they called it.
Because
was there a shooting somewhere?
I think it was after Sandy Hook or something like that. Well, we can't say shootout anymore.
Oh, I remember that.
They called it the Crosstown Showdown or something like that for a couple of years.
Showdown.
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't when?
And now they're back to the Crosstown Shootout.
Are you sure it wasn't when Pitts came up here?
When Dexter was here,
Yeah.
Rick Anderson had
And
the
there
one
was a
shooting.
shooting.
Yeah, might have had something to do with that.
Jeez.
I Am Pitts. That's a great podcast. Love you, Dex. Love Failure to Stop. Those guys are awesome.
Fucking Raider put groomer.
Oh my God, Falconer, quit saying groomer thing. He will get on that kick again.
All right, so in my little segment that I was on a tangent on for like 3 or 4 podcasts of the teachers that are banging students and we're just jealous because it never
might have
happened to
been.
us.
Thank you, Rich. It might have been the fight on the floor at the end. It was the fight. They got in a fucking fight. Was that at Cintas, Rich? Is he still here? Yeah, it was at Cintas. Those son of a bitch Jesuits.
Oh, I remember that.
Started
Was it
shit.
Rob can't turn his neck.
It was the fight that made him stop saying shootout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
and there weren't even guns drawn. You know, the Jesuits wouldn't know how to shoot a gun. Those are ours Clifton boys. Fuck XU, go UC, baby.
So I saw this article.
Go Muskies.
Mary Kay Letourneau's former student
What?
lover
You
who
just do
inspired May December film. Hey,
Hold on, he
Focus.
just does it to piss me
Focus.
off.
What?
Yeah.
I can't say go Muskies.
You're not affiliated with Xavier at all.
I like the Muskies.
You don't
See?
even have a fucking award there.
I root
What-
for.
what I
I
tell you?
know. I root for the Muskies,
You're a fucking asshole.
and I root for UC. But when they play the crosstown shootout, I go for X.
You
That's
got
it.
issues, man.
you've got
I
issues.
do too. I got to go with Dan on that.
There you go.
I graduated from X.
Well, they're playing each other. Who are you rooting for tonight?
I graduated from X. So
Oh, you suck too.
you suck.
This will never air.
My brother-in-law has season tickets to Xavier, so if I want to keep going to Xavier games, I got to root for X.
My skin started burning when we went to Cintas for the Roller Girls on Pride Night.
how is that, by the way? I've been wanting to go see Roller Girls.
We had a blast. We couldn't keep him off the seats. This motherfucker's buying they them pins for everybody.
He didn't know it was.
Yeah,
he didn't know it was Pride Night though.
Fucking
Well,
no idea.
LGBTQ Pride Night, yeah.
I looked at him. He got the ticks, I think, and
yeah, Coy gave him to us.
yeah, and
It was our first team building
the
exercise.
3 of us were going, and I'm like, the night before we're up here, and I go, oh fuck, it's Cincinnati Pride Night. Don't tell Carol. Let's just get him down there.
I will have you know that short that I put up has gotten the most views of any. I took video of all of us. He knew all the terminology. Oh, that's a hell of a jam
Yeah.
right there. I'm like, what?
Didn't we get a pick, or were we too late when he
Well,
was
roller
standing?
derby used to be on TV when
It
I
did.
was a
It
kid.
did.
I remember.
He was standing
Saturday
on the fucking
mornings.
chair.
Absolutely.
I don't think I have our pictures.
Dan was standing on a chair. Yelling.
I knew some of the basics. That's all.
It was entertaining.
Oh, you could have been a goddamn coach.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
could have been a coach. I was impressed.
There was a rainbow balloon.
Some of those coaches look a little suspect.
We got
to
a
me.
picture on.
And you didn't get up and leave, which that's what I was afraid of, is he was just going to get up and leave as soon as we got in there.
He bought they them pins. Him or
That was a good team building exercise, though.
we got another one
I
coming
can't
up
wait
though,
for the next
in
one
May.
we have coming up.
In May, it'll break. It's
gonna be awesome.
Logistical issues. It's going to be kind of like a Survivor type thing, but you'll be able to watch us live, I think, or at least our location service.
We'll have the video.
We'll have video.
videos. It won't be live.
It's like
You might
that-
as well talk about it.
All right. Yeah. No, we've got a. It's an overnight, right? We decided it's
Yes.
an overnight. We're going to be dropped off blindfolded on a 150-acre farm in 3 different locations. We're going to have air tags on us, nothing other than 5 items, and a backpack doesn't include one, and it cannot be in GPS shit.
No phones.
No phones, no nothing, and we've got to navigate to a certain location.
We're gonna have a compass.
And I think it's the first person to get to that location wins. And we're going to have people. We're going to have, what was that movie with
The Blair Witch.
Blair Witch Project? We're going to have some GoPros on us filming us. I've already decided one of my items is going to be, and I fuck that. 12-pack of beer is one item if it's in the container. So 12-pack of beer and a New York strip steak and one of my engraved in USA lighters to start my fire for my steak. And I'm going to bed down early that night so I can get up early, have a little steak.
You remember the movie with Ice-T and Rucker Hauer surviving the game?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be that.
Hey, if I bring an empty Pringles can so I can shit in it and throw it at Dan Carroll, is that all right? That's not an
That's
item.
an item.
Fuck.
That's an item.
What was that news
Well,
article?
once you shit in
from
it,
here.
that's 2 items.
No, if it comes from you, it's fine. But that was Noble County, right? Where the attorney shit in that Pringles can and threw it on the victim advocate parking
I
lot.
have no idea.
I think we talked about it yesterday. Noble County.
I don't remember.
All right.
I don't remember.
Doesn't
Wow.
ring a bell.
Where were
Yeah.
you? What the fuck do you guys do?
What do you do?
Rich
I-
ruling on the field. Was that discussed yesterday? Crickets. It was.
Okay.
I don't recall that.
Just as when he speaks, you shut down. When you speak, I shut down.
Yeah, it was Noble because somebody called out Noble on it.
But yeah, so it's gonna be Survivor-esque.
Sounds fun.
Somebody's gonna die.
Sounds fun.
Not sure who.
I may smuggle.
Thinking more Bear Grylls-esque.
And your son does not count as an item.
My Sherpa.
Just FYI.
My
Yeah,
Sherpa.
you'll bring a case of
Your
beer and
caddy.
make him carry the whole fucking thing.
Fucking a case, 2 cases if he's carrying it. Little son of a bitch is strong. I'm just gonna hide a GPS device in my ass, and I'm bringing a
That's an item.
pellet gun, and I'm gonna find Dan and just start lopping fucking 22s over there.
Fucking Rob has an affinity for drunk Amazon shopping.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
We're gonna see an itemized list, and he's gonna have night vision goggles, all kinds of shit that he just bought.
A ghillie suit, night vision goggles. I do have a ghillie suit in my garage.
I can't see you being very
I'm
secretive
stealth. I'm
and
fucking
stealthy.
stealth, man.
Yeah.
Stealth.
Nimble as a cat, I bet.
Oh, wait till we do the fucking
Stealth is not a
paintball
word
war
I
as a team,
associate
though.
with you.
Easy, Jack Hanna. What are you fucking
Just saying.
petting kangaroos later today at the
What-
Columbus Zoo?
What they
Just saying.
don't know is I'm not actually going to get dropped off. I'm just going to be watching.
I say we just get paintball guns, man. Freeze the fucking paintballs. and
Oh, since he
go to
513 brings up a good point. Just borrow Coy's truck. It has everything in it. Is that one item? Would the truck be one item?
True, but I'm gonna have Coy drive it.
We're gonna
I'm
have
gonna be drinking
that's 2 items.
because I always
We're gonna have
practice
to.
safe.
We are gonna have like a rules meeting. This is gonna be like all official.
Yes. Strictly adhered to.
You can't wear that shirt.
You know he's not going to.
Well, I'm gonna adhere to everything. I'll get a correction officer to frisk your ass too. No, I saw him putting something up his ass.
He's got
You're
he's
the
got
one.
something in his-
You're the one who just made it public.
he's got something in his prison wallet. You might
Yes.
want to check it.
Shove
he
it up your
He
ass.
said, "Fuck commissary money. I'm bringing my own." Are we playing a video or what are we doing over here, Keith?
No, I tried to talk about something. You hijacked it, so I'm done.
All right, so that is what's coming up in May. I do want to do a paintball war sometime before then. And we still got to do our damn golf match, Dan.
I know. Today would have been a nice day to do that.
Oh, wouldn't it fucking poured down rain at 3:00 in the morning?
Well, it wasn't raining when this morning when I came in. It was like a balmy 53 degrees. It was nice out.
I'm
yeah,
not-
but it rained all fucking night. You putting galoshes
yeah,
on
I'm
over
not
your
playing
fucking.
in a rice paddy, man. Fuck
Big
that.
deal.
I'm not sloshing through water.
This golf courses drain well.
You need help with the roll, dude. I'm telling you. You need the roll. Yours will plug and you're done. Just saying.
How many of you out there right now think Dan looks like Jack Hanna from Columbus Zoo? Or Steve Irwin, crikey.
That almost
Cranky.
went all over
Cranky.
the board. And then the podcast would have been done. We're out.
It was Noble County shit in a Pringles can. Join your VA.
Yes.
Join your post. Form a Sons of the American Legion at your post if it doesn't already have one. There's going to be some pushback. Always is.
Always is.
You guys are sons of the Legion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
We are.
It's good stuff.
What is that? Sons of Anarchy. Isn't that the Sons of
It's a
Anarchy?
TV show.
Why don't we get fucking jackets for the Sons of the American Legion like that? That'd be cool.
You could get a bike and join the Legion Riders.
Good.
You could wear a vest.
No.
Gotta write
They've
my
already
name.
got them MC, so
Do they?
they do.
Yeah, you could join it though.
It
Got
requires.
to learn how to ride a motorcycle first.
I know how to ride a fucking. I can outride a motorcycle.
Yeah,
than
speaking of,
you.
you know, hey,
Like a bear on a tricycle.
got our
Yeah.
we got our New Year's
Pretty good on that
our New
one-wheeler.
Year's Eve dance coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, talk about it, Todd.
Well, yeah, I can do that. December 31st, New Year's Eve.
Did you actually look up and have to think about the date on that one?
I did.
Yeah, I saw it. I was thinking too. I was like,
I was thinking I should have got that biscuits and gravy instead of that waffle.
hey, it's a New Year's
I
Eve
did not
party.
take- I did take my ADHD medicine this morning.
It's a New Year's Eve party, but it's on December 30th.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, it's down at the post 318 down on Clough Pike. I say right around the corner from Turpin High School in between ATP. And a great time. Marsha Brady brand again this year. I think when I checked last night, I think we've got about 135 tickets sold out of 250, which is our max.
Did Todd tell you we're getting a table? Do you remember that?
I do remember.
All right, I'm just making
I
sure
think
you
I-
remember.
Yes, yeah, I do.
Well, you remember the podcast, so I
Yeah.
figured you remember
I wrote that
but I
down.
just wanted to make
He
sure.
remembers a lot more than you do on a regular basis.
But yeah, it's a good time. It's
I
a
think
good
it was
time.
Coy, me, and Todd that were getting a table together.
Yeah, that's what you said.
And
last
Coy
night.
was only kicking up 100 because he's a tight ass. That's right. I called you out, Coy.
Well, he broke when he said $81. I think he said, "I'm in."
We were getting our dick slapped out here on these fucking pull tabs last night.
I
We
saw
couldn't
that.
win
I
shit.
saw that. But yeah, it's the New Year's Eve dance, post 318. If you go to our Facebook page, our Facebook group page, Sons of the American Legion, you can click on the Eventbrite link. $25 is the ticket.
Who's playing? Marsha Brady?
Marsha Brady's playing.
There you go.
Second year in a row. Great band.
They are great. And you should come down.
They seem excited to play it again.
Oh, I tell you,
Which is good.
they rocked it last year.
They did.
They did a great
They
job.
did a great job.
It's the most,
time.
it's actually, and this isn't being shitty, it's the most action that post has seen as far as just
I was concerned about the ceiling tiles. Yes, I was. But yeah, here's the other great benefit of the dance. The reason why the cost is so low. Now it is a cash bar, but you can bring in your own food. And
really?
Yeah. Some people last year they had Texas Roadhouse spreads and Olive Garden and all that, and so and we'll have the TVs on watching the games, and it's a good time.
It is a good time. Marsha Brady's great. Why don't you bring Paula down, Dan? You want me to call her and invite her?
It's probably the best course of action.
I will. I'll stop over after the podcast.
Yeah. But you know what it is,
one-on-one.
Jason? It's really just like an old school dance.
It is.
Band, hall, drinks.
Good band.
And real good brand. And they play nonstop, which is nice.
Little Happy New Year. Happy New Year at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy Uber ride.
Where do we go to? 1 o'clock, I think. So you get through New Year's.
Well, we go to 1 o'clock, but some of us were around last year.
We had to do cleanup though.
Had to do cleanup the next day. Yeah.
No, that night, right? Well, it was technically 1 a.m. was still the next day. So we were cleaning up.
Maybe when we left at 4.
We wanted to get a jump on it.
Yeah, we did.
That's the way we
left at 4, came back at 8.
We rationalized that shit that way.
with a stern talking to.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we didn't call anybody.
You'll have that.
But we got a nice new club room.
Raised a bunch of money for the post.
Yeah, we did.
And if you ever want to see a push button phone that's still plugged into a wall that works, come on down to the post. Is that still there?
And it rings.
Yeah, because I got in trouble for making a fucking phone call on that thing. Didn't I? Wasn't it that call somebody like pizza or something?
Probably.
Yeah, I can't remember what I did.
You probably did something dumb.
I did. Somebody lectured me about.
But
somebody lectured somebody else who lectured me.
It's a good time.
Let's put it that way. But if there's a phone, you would think it would work.
You would think.
Make sure you get online, book your table, book your seat, or you can get a hold of me because I know me, Todd, and Coy have 8 seats.
Yes,
and I don't think
you do.
I don't think we sat at any of them.
Yeah, no, I know I didn't. I was selling split the pot last year and running all over the place.
And Rick looked very hot in his little apron.
He looked better in his apron than I did.
In his smock.
Yeah.
He still talks about that smock. He talked about it yesterday.
Aprons aren't for everyone.
Yeah.
I fucking love that smock.
But yeah, if you're interested, you should get your tickets soon because last year by December 15th, we sold out and we're kind of on that same path.
Real quick question, Dano. How was Corbett's holiday party?
We had a good time. He made some really good food, some nice steaks, good salad, some shrimp.
Randy Corbett also made some nice signs too.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
You want to go ahead and throw an ad read out?
I just might do that. Corbett Graphics for all your signage needs for if you need graphics, if you need posters, if you need banners, if you need any kind of vinyl. You've seen his work all over the place. TQL Stadium, all over UC, high schools and grade schools all across the tri-state. Corbett Graphics, your one-stop shop from original artwork, design concepts, all the way to installation. You call Corbett Graphics and you get it done. He's done great jobs for us on our banners, and has really been a good friend of the show, and just keeps cranking out great stuff. And he's been a good guy for me to work with over the last couple of years, and we're going to continue that relationship. And Corbett Graphics, you can look him up on the Twitter. You can look him up on the Facebook, CorbettGraphics.com. Corbett Graphics, enhancing your success.
It's just that it gets me every damn time. You said the internet yesterday, and it was like, what? No, Randy's great.
Yes.
Saw his truck the other day on the way up to Warren County, and I'm glad you had a good time at the holiday party. Kiefer and I weren't invited to.
No, you weren't invited.
We were not invited.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I'll talk with Randy.
Randy's been a good friend of the show. Todd, we want to thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Early morning, and throw that number out one more time.
Yeah, it's Cincinnati VA Eligibility Office. It's 513-475-6499. And it's a direct dial number. Call them. Michael Page and Mary Haggerty answer that phone. They're 2 good friends of mine, and they will get you squared away.
Guys, don't wait. Get on there. Get on the list. Get the benefits you deserve, the benefits you earned. Thank you all for your service. Thank you all for allowing us the ability to be free and say whatever the hell we want. And stay safe. But most of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Fukamas.
We'll be back. We'll be back Monday.
We'll be back Monday.
We'll be back Monday.
with a
That's even
special
a real word.
Fukamas episode.
I don't think that's a real word.
And we did learn yesterday that the first penis is bald. The question is, Dan, do you manscape?